In this video, we tell the story of the group Enigma, the creators of hits such as Return to Innocence and Sadness. To everyone's surprise, Enigma became not only a huge commercial success, but also enjoyed a great deal of recognition from its musical peers, and, in our opinion, played a key role in the New Age wave which rolled over the Western musical landscape in the 90s. They achieved this by presenting us with their unique music, which best can be described as New Age electronic ambience style music, sprinkled with a good dash of spirituality and mysticism. Enigma's music enjoys an almost magical quality, which allows it to not only grace the ears of the listener, but also their spirit and soul, transporting the listener to places they never before had conceived, or long-forgotten places and emotions. Their story is one of turns, twists, and magic, and it is one we will start telling now, starting with Michael, or Michael Cretu, the founder of Enigma. Michael was born in the capital of Romania, Bucharest, on the 18th of May, 1957. The young boy was born into a very famous family, a family famous for its musical history and achievements throughout the nation of Romania. Especially important was the uncle of young Michael, Ion Voicu, who was a renowned violinist and conductor in the world of Romanian classical music. It was he who saw the raw musical talent within young Michael, and it was he who suggested to the boy's parents to sign him up for piano lessons as soon as humanly possible. To make it short, the fact that Michael was set to walk the paths of music was set in stone well before his birth. Michael started his musical journey at a very young age, playing the piano when he was 5 years old. However, while the musical talent of the young Michael was obvious to everyone, he hated the rigid world of classical music and would often fake a stomach ache just to avoid the next piano lesson. But again, at this point, the young Michael really had no choice but keep practicing what was presented before him. In 1965, young Michael would be enrolled at the Lyceum No. 2 at the Collegiul Național in Bucharest. Throughout this time, young Michael's love for the craft of music and sound would continue to darken as the dreaded and seemingly unavoidable future of having to play the same 50 standard concerts for the rest of his life as a professional concert pianist came closer and closer to reality. However, in 1968, he was sent to Paris to attend 5 months of studies. Away from the classic and rigid classrooms of Lyceum No. 2 in Bucharest, Paris would introduce the young Michael to the world of Western pop music, which made the young man feel something he hadn't felt in a long time. A deep sense of passion and love for a future in the world of music and sound. And it was in that moment he decided that this was the field of music he would center his career around, no matter the cost. As a result, after completing his studies, Michael moved to Germany to study at the Academy of Music in Frankfurt. Professor Philipp Moller, head of Academy, quickly recognized the unique talent of Michael and supported him throughout his stay at the Academy. Michael passed his final exams with distinction in 1978 and immediately found work as a studio musician and arranger. Throughout the late 70s and 80s, Michael worked on a number of successful musical productions. His first solo album was released in 1979, titled Moon, Light and Flowers. And in 1983, the album Legionnaire would be released. But in 1985, he made his, until now, biggest breakthrough in not only the musical world, but also in love, as he ended up producing the 80s icon Sandra's first international #1 hit, named Maria Magdalena. A collaboration that resulted in Michael and Sandra getting married in the year 1988. Jumping a year back to 1987, Michael was working on his next project, which was to help produce the next album of musician and songwriter Mike Oldfield, named Islands. Impressed by Michael's work as a producer, Mike started to heavily push Michael towards pursuing a solo project. Encouraged by the seasoned artist, Michael went to work and slowly but surely started to formulate the ideas, concepts, and emotions for the type of music which resonated with his soul. Eventually, this process would culminate in the formation of Enigma, which involved Fabrice Quitat, Frank Peterson, and of course, Michael himself. In October 1990, the trio would create and release the groundbreaking debut single of Enigma, Sadness, a song which quickly became a surprise hit in the world of music, quickly putting Enigma on everyone's radar. While the rest of the world was caught by surprise by the success of Sadness, funnily enough, this was not the case for Michael. He knew in his bones that either this would be a huge hit or failure, one or the other. While Sadness was busy inspiring music lovers around the world with the unusual practice of mixing a variety of musical genres, samples, and sounds, Michael, also well known as the alchemist of music, kept working on Enigma's first album of the name MCMXCAD. The album was released later in December 1990. While Sadness was a success, their new album blew everyone's expectations out of the water, even Michael's. MCMXCAD became a worldwide commercial success. According to the New York Times, the album had sold 12 million copies worldwide as of February 1994, establishing Enigma as not just a musical project, but as a group who played a key role in defining the nature of the pop music in the 90s. After enjoying the success of the first album, Enigma got to work on the highly anticipated follow-up. This process, however, was not without its challenges. In the process of making the new album, Michael and Frank started to have more and more disagreements about the artistic direction of Enigma, culminating in Frank leaving the project. While Frank started up a new project which put a deeper emphasis on the Gregorian sound found in Enigma's first album, Michael decided to tone down the Gregorian aspect of Enigma's upcoming second album in the favor of tribal chants. Michael's work culminated in Enigma's second and most successful hit single, named Return to Innocence, released in 1993, and would go to sell more than 14 million copies worldwide, and has at this time been played more than 172 million times on YouTube. The release of Return to Innocence would be followed by the release of Enigma's second album, The Cross of Changes, in December 1993, which sold an estimate of 8 million copies worldwide. While the 90s was the peak of Enigma, Michael kept working on and releasing new albums throughout the years, with the latest album releasing in 2016. Enigma's total sales reaching well above 70 million worldwide. Sadly, as the release of this video, we have been unable to find any signs of a new album being on the horizon. But again, something is not beautiful because it lasts, but because it ends. And for us, the magic of Enigma is still as strong as the day it was released. So, what does the future bring for Michael and his creative talents? Well, I guess that is an enigma we will just have to keep living with. Until then, I will happily enjoy another return to a time of innocence.